Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm back with another video today. So today I'm gonna be doing a drive from Farmingdale to Elmont, Queens, and I did have the newest software update over the weekend. So last couple of drives I did, I was on 2026.8.6. Now they came out with 2026.8.6.1. So, and that's full self-drive version 12.6.4. So let's do a little drive and see how that goes. Hopefully they've fixed a couple of things and we'll get into it on the drive. Let me just start. I don't want you guys to see that. Hold on. Let me turn it off in there. All right. So I'm just going to give it a little start and then let FSD take over. So I actually been driving all day today with this version. I did notice, even with the 2026.8.6, I did notice like a little sway. It's been reported on both hardware 3 and hardware 4 cars. I see that it seems to still be here, but one of the things that I did notice is that the eye monitoring system, the nags they've given you a little bit more grace. It's not completely gone. Unprotected left coming up. It's not completely gone, but they have given you more, a little bit more time to basically be able to text real quick, I guess, or do something on your phone or whatever may be the case, and not immediately get nagged. Because previous versions, if I was to pick up my phone in honestly less than 5 seconds, if my eyes were not straight, it would immediately give me a nag. It was like I used to basically try to play the game of looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, just so it can monitor my eyes and not give me a nag. And sometimes that's kind of annoying because then it catches you and it's like, god damn it. And then sometimes it'll put you on timeout, and if you get hit too many times, it's going to kick you out of full self-drive. So if you're on the highway, you either have to try to pull over and put it in park so that it can re-engage full self-drive, because basically it's saying you can't use the full self-drive for the remaining of this drive, but for them, the remaining of this drive means once the car goes in park. So once you put the car in park, a message will pop up, basically like scolding you of why, if you get too many strikes, you're going to be put on a more indefinite timeout. But then it goes away and then you can reactivate the full self-drive. So, but I've noticed, like I said, the eye monitoring system is a little bit more lenient. So like I'll show you an example, like, because before normally I could not go into like my Facebook and go on my Facebook and be in my Facebook. By then it would have already nagged me. Just having my phone in my hand like this and my eyes not glued straight forward. Like, you guys can't necessarily see it right now, but I'm looking down and oh snap, Luka, it may return in the first round of the playoffs. So that's what I'm looking at on Facebook, and it didn't nag me at all. So I'm scrolling through Facebook right now. I did look up just now, but yeah, you can basically scroll, so you can send a text message here or there. You can now answer your phone without it going crazy, and not having to play the eye game. I find I'm so trained and I'm so used to doing it that even when I drive now and I have my phone, I'm constantly looking up, because I'm just so used to doing that. Because if you didn't do it before, it's going to keep constantly nagging you and possibly throw you out of FSD. So I'm trying to not do it as much. But yeah, so that's such a great thing for me, because I don't know if you guys watched some of my previous videos, but that's one of the things that I've always talked about, is being able to leave a customer, get in the car, text my next customer, hey, I'm on my way. Or if I was leaving my next customer, sometimes I'm in a rush and I have to place orders. I try to do it in the customer's house, but sometimes I'm in a rush and I do it on the go. So being able to place an order 1, 2, 3 and not have the car be nagging me and still actually drive me, to my next location is great, because that saves time instead of me sitting down before I leave, or when I get to my next customer, put it in a parts order. Sometimes with putting in parts order, you got to get it in before 4 o'clock so that it can ship out. So it's a great thing for me, because I was so annoyed sometimes with the constant nags. You could put some people have said with, Hardware 3, you could put your glasses on and it will not, but it's so, okay, why not just get over? But so that's something that I would have felt like with the previous version, it would have just gotten out of that lane, especially since there was no one there. But no big deal. I mean, it could have been a little bit more smoother with the slowing down. One thing I definitely did notice with this update so far is the car is definitely not as smooth as it was on the previous version. I mean, Hardware 3 in the version of FSD was not as smooth as Hardware 4, but it was definitely still pretty smooth, and it just seemed like it's gotten a little bit worse with this update. But I feel like it's probably those are little things that we're going to see a couple of more updates, and those little issues will get smoothened out. But I just like so far the new additions, as in the sense of not the constant nagging is not there as much as it was before. That makes having full self-drive a lot more enjoyable, to be able to pick up your cell phone here and there. You don't got to be sitting there. You're not going to be playing 8-ball pool on your phone, but being able to pick up your cell phone and send a text, and let the car drive is, to me, a big plus. I think that was something that Hardware 4 in the new, I think version 14 did have somewhat. It wasn't as bad. Here we go with the BMW with the exhaust. I mean, I used to have a BMW, and I don't think I was that bad, but I swear it's like every single BMW they just feed into the stereotypes of the BMW. Every single BMW guy, they put an exhaust on and they think that their car is as fast as, should you say, one stock, which this one stock, when he was alive, rest in peace, put a lot of time and a lot of money into his car. But these guys, just throw an exhaust on for burble tune, and they think that they're Dominic Toretto. But back to what I was saying, is that it just seemed a little bit smoother. But from what I learned as well with previous versions, is that when a big update comes out, or a decent sized update comes out, sometimes things take a little time to get smoothed out. Because when I first started using FSD, even on hardware, when I had my Model 3 Performance that had Hardware 4, and when I first started using FSD, certain things were not that smooth. It was pretty choppy, and then it seemed to get a little bit better, especially when you start driving. I think when you use FSD more, it gets better. They say that, I don't know if they say it learns, but I definitely feel like the car learns and it does adapt. I feel like it definitely does learn, and it picks up on certain things and goes off of that. And especially if you leave voice notes, the little voice notes. I feel like I've left voice notes, and then the next time I used FSD, the issue was not even there anymore. So I don't know. I don't know if they technically do fix things that fast, or if the car is technically learning, but it definitely feels like it does learn. I got me a new water bottle off of Amazon, because my other water bottle was too small. I've done my water by, first 2 customers. Now this one's a little bit bigger, and it's still still fits in my cup holder. So I definitely know. Dang, where was that on my windshield? It had to be something from those trees I was just parked under. Definitely noticed that I would notice that little sway back and forth thing more on the highway. So we'll see if that's happening this time as well. So right now, oh no, it's actually changing lanes. So can't tell if it was doing that little swaying. The thing is, when it does it, it's not actually affecting it's not like the car was actually swaying back and forth, but you can see the steering wheel moving, which it never used to do that before. It used to just be, if the car was going straight, it would be straight. There was no swaying back and forth or anything like that. So definitely was something that I noticed with the new update. And like I said, I think that's been reported on both hardwares, hardware 3 and hardware 4. But I mean, these type of updates give me hope, right? Because I was trying to find a hardware 4 car that, trying to find a good deal or whatever for a hardware 4 car. And, ever since the Model S and Model X end of production, the prices have kind of skyrocketed for these cars. So we shall see. But this kind of makes me want to say, like, oh, well, maybe I should just hold on to my car because I got it for a really good price. And if they're going to give this car these updates that will help it get to some standpoint of where, because to be honest, like, I get in my car, if I had the start from park and park when I get to location, to be honest, the way FSD is right now, I mean, I would love unsupervised, but I would be fine with that because technically I do so many drives that I do not have any real interventions, or the most that I do a lot of interventions for is potholes. So, but I felt they're going to put that in the version 14 Lite. A lot of the things that's in hardware 4 cars is going to get it. They're going to come down to hardware 3. So that kind of makes me say to myself, like, I should just hold on to my car and see how it goes, because the way things are right now, I'm actually, like I said, I love it because now I can be on my phone a little bit and not have to be constantly nagged all day long. So I wasn't paying attention necessarily to see if it was doing the sway. But let's see. Car's going straight, so going straight now. It's funny is that earlier today it seemed like it was doing it, but right now I really can't tell if it's doing it. It doesn't seem like, because it was very noticeable. It was like as if the steering wheel had Parkinson's, like as it was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know. Maybe that update did help it or fix it, cure that bug. Maybe it didn't. I felt like it was doing it earlier today, but seems to be pretty steady and solid right now. So we got 17 minutes left in this drive. Let's check out my efficiency. Did charge the car last night. So right now we're kind of high. So you can see some of my last drive. Since last charge, I was under 300 efficient. 300 for efficiency. Now I'm over 300. So, but it's gonna come down because I'm in full self-drive and we're on the highway only doing 65. And I didn't actually start with a charged battery for the camera. So this battery's at 35 and going down, but we only got 16 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't do like it did the last drive and cut off on me.
Rear K-band.
I wasn't paying attention. didn't really use. I did use this battery for a little bit last drive, I think. And yeah, I did. Sure, I did. I finished up the other drive on this battery, and then it's been sitting in the car. So I haven't. I should have just recharged it or swapped it out. But and the other thing is I'm always on hurry, and let's see, yeah, set my speed max at 85, so it kind of like buffers around that. But if I feel like it's getting a little bit too fast, I'll pull it down, or if I see a cop, I definitely pull back on that to rein it in more closer to the speed limit. But right now we're doing basically 12 over. If there was a cop, yeah, I could get a ticket, but I do have my trusty radar detector that should let me know and alert me. But so far, so good. No real complaints from this drive at all. One of the things it used to kill me with my hardware 4 car was lane hugging. Like, every time I did an update, it's like it reset it, and the car would stick to one side of the lane. Like, it'd either stick to the left side or it would stick to the right side. And if you're on like a regular small city street, and instead of it going down the middle of the street, it's hanging to the right, so it's like kind of driving close to cars used to make me very nervous. And that was with my hardware 4 car. I haven't really experienced that too much in my hardware 3 car, but I do wish Tesla would give an option to either be 100% in the center, or if you want to be to the left or the right, because sometimes when you're on the highway, like in New York, I don't know if every other state is the same, is that New York sometimes have these storm drains. They're in the lane, and sometimes they're not pleasant to drive over. Sometimes they're like basically a pothole. So when you're in this left lane, it would be kind of nice to have it, lean a little bit more to the right of the lane to avoid those storm drains. And I guess if you're in the right lane, you would probably want to lean to the left a little bit to avoid, because there's sometimes storm drains on that side as well too. So in the middle, you would probably not care. You just want it to be centered in the middle. But sometimes for different highways and things like that, you may want to do different things. It would be cool to be able to have that feature. One other feature that I wish that they would add is a follow feature, so that, say for example, and there's a Model 3 long range, say for example, if you're going out with friends, and I experienced this when I did have my hardware 4 car, and I was actually going to a funeral, and when you're in a funeral line, you're following all of these other cars, and I wanted to use FSD, but I couldn't use FSD because FSD was not going to stay with the pack. FSD was going to find the fastest route, or whatever may be the case, and it was changing lanes. So, or even if you're hanging out, or if you're going on a family vacation and you guys are all driving down together, or you guys are hanging out and you guys are in a group driving together, it would be great to be able to put the car in FSD and tag that car, one of the cars, so that now everything that car does, it tries to emulate, or it tries to stay with that car. That would be a great feature, because now, like I said, if you go on family vacation with, if you have a big family and you're driving multiple cars, and now instead of you just putting your car in full self-drive, and it's like everybody get there when they get there, you could put your car in full self-drive and tag the car in front of you, and now it follows that car. I think that'll be something that's really cool that they could add. I'm pretty sure they could do it, because some highway lane assist work by tagging basically the car in front of it, and it tries to, it basically follows that car and keeps a safe distance. It uses all of its LiDAR and stuff like that to measure the distance between that car and try to follow that car. I know Mercedes-Benz definitely does it. Their highway lane assist system in Europe, if I'm not correct, because it allows them to, actually like watch a movie and be on highway lane assist, but it basically tracks the car and you can set the distance. And if I'm not correct, I've never used autopilot, but if I'm not correct, I believe you can do that even with autopilot, is you could alter the distance between the car that's in front of you that you wanted to, stay. So if they have that type of technology, then they should be able to just tag that car to say, hey, follow it, and keep a safe distance of 10 feet, you know what I'm saying, or 15 feet, and go from there. So actually, let me bump the speed down a little bit because there's a Piggly Wiggly coming up. I don't know if he's on my side of the highway. Oh, he is on the left side of the highway. He actually has somebody pulled over. Radar is saying that he's on the left side, and now it's going to say he's behind me. Yes, so yeah, because he had pulled somebody over. All right, so we could bump it back up. We shouldn't have anything to worry about. But yeah, I think that would be a great feature, like a follow feature in FSD. That way, you truly could be hands-free for just about everything, because it happens. A lot of people do road trips and family trips and things like that, and it's multiple cars going to one location, and that'll be great to do. Great feature to have. So we're almost here. Well, it just said 7 minutes. Now it's at 8 minutes. I don't know what that's about, but let's check my efficiency. So yeah, now we're back under 300, which is pretty good. And I am on the 21-inch arachnids. I do have wheel covers, Halo Black wheel covers on. It's trying to help with my efficiency, but that's good. Back under 300. Taking the Cross Island, so I'm assuming that it's going to start making its way over. And I do feel like it's like Tesla hasn't said anything. They really haven't said anything too much about this update, but I feel like it has gotten a lot of version 14 characteristics, because everybody knows that any hardware that you had, that the lane selection and getting off highways and things like that was not always the best. Sometimes it would wait to the last minute to, get into a certain lane, and, now it's trying to fight to get into a lane because it waited so long, and now you're stuck. And sometimes I've even had to take over because it was, waiting too long to get into the right lane, and you're about to exit, So I feel like it's gotten that characteristic because they got that at version 14.3. A lot of people have said that, it started to get over. So I feel like we got a lot of that as well. Like I said, Tesla has not came out and said anything like that, but I feel like the car definitely does prepare for exit a lot sooner than previous versions. Tesla didn't even say anything about this update. This was basically like a surprise. I didn't see anything in the pipe works for this update coming up. Everything was about version 14.3 for hardware for cars. So seeing this and getting some of these things, like for example, we're getting off at exit 26B, and I don't know if it prepared to get into this lane because of the traffic, but a lot of the times in the past it would not be in this lane to be getting off. We're coming up on the exit now after this one, but it would possibly a lot of the times now be trying to get into this lane, which now in this case, this is double solid line, so technically you're not supposed to cross these to get into this lane. If you're over there, you're supposed to stay in that lane. I do think the lines get perforated, so you can try to make your... No, actually it doesn't. But you would be kind of stuck. So now if there was traffic, now you're trying to fight to get in. So I do believe that it got over way before the exit to make its preparation to exit the highway. So yeah, the double solids does turn to perforated up here. But yeah, you're trying to fight to get off, and that's not fun, you know, especially in New York. People don't let you in all the time. You have some people that are nice and they'll let you in, but most of the times it's every man and woman for themselves. So you got to get in where you fit in. So preparation matters. Is get into that lane way before you need to, because you might not be able to get into it. So we're 3 minutes away, 12 minutes left on the camera. So let's see. And what I'll do is I'll charge this battery in the fast charger pack that I have. Wendy's. Haven't had some Wendy's in a minute. Once again, I wonder, I can't imagine it knew that lane was going to merge and it automatically got in the middle lane. Maybe it did. Because before, I've seen before when I've been driving where it would do stupid things like get into a lane like that where that lane is ending. So it gets into that lane and then it sees, oh snap, this lane is ending, and now it's basically trying to fight to get out of that lane. I've seen that before too. So the lane preparation, I believe on all versions, hardware 3, hardware 4 cars, have had that issue in the past of lane preparation and not getting into the lane so much sooner, things like that. So I feel like we've gotten that already with this update in hardware 3 cars. So it's making a case harder to look into a hardware 4 car, you know, in some case, you know, basically spending an extra. Some people have already bought cars and it's like, dang, I just bought a car and now should I have to now try to sell this car and buy another car? Some people are like, hell no, I'm going to keep my my hardware 3 car. I'm back, and it's sure enough, the camera did die. So my bad for that. I will have to put these 2 videos together, but I got the battery in. We're basically arriving at my customer's house right now, so I'm about to take over because I'm gonna park like right. Oh, he's doing a U-turn, I believe. And I'm going to 98, so that's 92. There's 98 right there. I'm gonna park right here. All right, I'll see you guys on another drive. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys, I'm back. So since I started off, I left off here. Let's do another drive from Elmont to Brooklyn. What is this? The Canarsie area. I'm going actually to pick up some parts. So this is going to be another drive from Elmont, Queens to Brooklyn, Canarsie area. Once again, I'm going to start and get it going, and then we're going to turn on FSD and let it do its thing. I made all my calls and did everything so that I don't have to do it and get it recorded on the video. But last drive was pretty good, pretty smooth. Didn't have any issues. Like I said, I'm loving this new update so far. If it can fix, can't get my phone on my own mount. If it could fix the sway issue, would be great. But I do like so far that I don't need my Bank of America card showing. But if it does, if it fixes it, great. I do like that. Now we can drive and not get constantly nagged. That is a big win so far for Hardware 3. But like I said, I see this all the time, and I just think some people are just out of their mind. But you guys be the judge. This is a Hardware 3 car, and I've been posting videos just about almost every week now. That's what I'm going to try to do. And the car drives. I have yet to see, and you guys can see, point out something if you see that's so egregious that would make this so distant from Hardware 4. I just don't see it. Personally, I do not see any big gap in the drives that I do from a Hardware 4 car. Don't get me wrong. Yes, Hardware 4 does have its advantages and it's a little bit better. I do feel like Hardware 3, I don't know if some of the things that I liked in Hardware 3 over Hardware 4 are still here, because this is a new update. Like I've said before, is that one of the things I feel Hardware 3 does, it's a little bit more aggressive when switching lanes or needing to exit, and some people aren't letting you in, or they're not accelerating or decelerating. So I feel like this Hardware 3 is more aggressive. It will accelerate, it will use its power and things like that, which this car has 1,020 horsepower. Like, there's no reason that it should be afraid to use its acceleration. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this car has always done that, whereas with my Model 3, definitely did not. I felt like even, and that's a fast car too. It has 510 horsepower. That's a fast car, but it would be very timid. It would not. A lot of the times when it was put in those situations where it was trying to change lanes and there was a car that was like hanging out behind me, I would sometimes have to take over, because it would just keep the same speed. It really wouldn't accelerate. Maybe they have fixed that in later versions, because I forgot which version I was on. I think I was on version 12 with my Hardware 4 car. So maybe they have fixed that. But I know that from the time I got my Plaid and it had Hardware 3, it's always been aggressive. So, and I live in New York City, so you have to be aggressive. You cannot be. Well, you have to be, because if you don't, you ain't never going to get anywhere. You might as well just take the bus. So I like that this car with Hardware 3 has been aggressive, and it's but like I said, I don't know if that is still the same with these new updates, because I know that they sometimes change things. But so far it's been pretty good. I mean, I haven't gotten in a situation where the car has to assert itself, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Maybe we'll get put in a situation. So I did give it a nudge, because people like to jump you a lot. The car is going to give a space between me and this car in front of me, but people will like to jump in front of you the last minute. So this is going to be a drive from Queens to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, we're going to have these super impatient drivers. The type of driving, definitely you can tell, changes once you start getting into Brooklyn versus when you're like deep out in Long Island. I'm not saying that people in Long Island are courteous, but sometimes they're, you got a lot more older people that's a little bit more relaxing. So in this case, somebody was nice. They actually let us in. The car saw it and took off and jumped in. I'm running into a little bit of traffic as well too, so hopefully it doesn't. Let's see where we got ahead. Alright, so it doesn't seem bad. I mean, gonna run into some traffic. I think that's the Belt Parkway, which the Belt Parkway always has traffic, so should be fine. Actually, is that the Belt Parkway? No, that might not be the Belt Parkway. Okay. See, so you guys saw the nag. So one of the things I noticed, like I said, and I told you that before in earlier's drive, that basically when your head is like completely not looking, like I'm actually leaning forward and looking at the screen, touching on the screen, so yeah, eventually gives you a nag. But if you're sitting up straight and your head is actually straight forward, and you're not like completely looking off or looking somewhere else, then yeah, it's probably not gonna nag you. Like, so let's see. Yeah, but I wasn't sure. I think that might be the Belt Parkway because we're getting on the Belt Parkway, so I can't imagine it's not the Belt Parkway. Okay, yeah, well, the customer just messaged me back. iPhone update. I don't understand why it has the way my screen is looking. Let's see how much water I got left.
Speed camera ahead. You are exceeding the speed.
This guy's jumping into lanes. You never heard of a turning signal? Set my seat in my comfy position to relax. So technically today I've actually not really driven. I've driven maybe a half a mile coming from my house, because by my house the roads is still just really, really bad, and I don't feel like disengaging and just dodge all of these crazy potholes. But other than that, the car has driven me all day long, and this is relaxing. I think this is very luxurious. I had seen somebody make a post on Facebook yesterday or over the weekend, and he was showing off his Tesla to some of his co-workers, I think, and she was using Summon. And I've had this debate with other people that people say that, oh, these cars are luxurious or whatever may be the case, and I have to ask the question of what do you call luxurious? Because getting in a car or coming out of the movies and coming out of the restaurant or coming out of grocery shopping, whatever, and maybe you don't want to lug all of that stuff to the car, or maybe it's pouring, raining, or maybe you just don't feel like walking because you parked your car pretty far away, and having your car come to you is luxurious. I also think that being able to get in your car when that car picks you up in front of, say, the movies.
You are exceeding the speed.
Say you go out with your girlfriend or your wife or your boyfriend or your husband, whatever, and being able to have your car come pick you guys up, that's luxurious. And for that car to be able to drive you to any location is luxurious. You basically have a chauffeur.
Camera ahead.
People pay big money to have chauffeurs. That is something that rich people and very, very important people do. Let me put this on mute. Very, very important people do. They pay other people to drive for them. So I do not have to pay for anyone to drive me. My car is driving. I don't have to buy a car, then pay for a chauffeur that maybe he's a cool person, maybe she's a cool person, maybe, but I don't have to deal with any of that. I think that is very luxurious to be able to get in my car and let it drive me to wherever I would like to drive to. Are there other cars that have better luxury interiors, maybe a little bit more quieter? Yes, but there's other luxury car companies that aren't the quietest. So do we consider them not luxurious because they're not the best at being luxurious? No. That's not how things go. You don't have to be the very best to be considered to be something.
Speed camera ahead. You are exceeding the speed.
And I think this is a completely different experience to that people
Speed
are.
camera
Some people
ahead.
are not ready for it. I get it, but listen, to each his own. I love tech. I love technology. So this type of stuff is right up my alley. I think that was pretty decent of getting over. These are short exits, so it's pretty good. I'm wondering, I guess it's getting off. Oh, so that's where the traffic was at. So it's funny is I normally do this myself anyway. Get off the Belt Parkway right here and take this down past the traffic for the Van Wyck, because right there that it's always traffic. It seems to be always bottlenecked and almost like a parking lot. To be honest, I normally get off here, but I honestly stopped doing it for a while because the road here is just horrendous. So I'd rather, sit in a little bit of the traffic versus driving down here, because these streets are bad. Hopefully maybe it's a little bit better. I haven't been on this part in a while, but these streets over here, the road is just horrible. So we shall see, because last couple of times I've definitely stayed on the highway and sat in some of that traffic. I'd rather sit in the traffic than have to deal with riding over Crater Town. And the lane management over here is just horrible. For just like there's lane lines and then they disappear, and then people. The crazy thing is, it's not necessarily for the car, but even people, like, look at this road. Look at this road. Just horrendous. Get out of this lane, car. Whoa, my God. And they didn't even want to get out of this lane. See, I'm going to take over because this is just crazy.
Red light camera ahead.
I told you to get over it. They said, nah, I'm dealing with too much. The car is dealing with too much, but that's crazy. That's why I don't drive over here, because the road is horrible. But the other thing was the lanes. There was no lines, and then the way, I don't know whoever did the lines and everything over here, but even over here, it doesn't even make sense. The lanes kind of like merge, and everyone's always in the wrong lane a lot of the time. So, but the car handles it. Other than those damn bumps, it's just crazy over here. But you guys can't see it, but over there,
Front K-band.
there is let me get it. Okay, good job. I was gonna tell it to get over into this left lane, because this lane is gonna merge, and now that school bus is gonna try to merge into my lane, and there's nobody in this lane, so it did it before I would do it. Good job. But yep, on the Belt Parkway, it is a bunch of traffic. So we're moving along at a faster pace, but at the expense of your suspension. This is another crazy bottleneck coming up. Like these merges, and then everybody's people are over here trying to get all the way to the right, and it's like, come on, bruh. Then this lane, so it has 4 lanes, and then it gets to 3 lanes, then back to 4 lanes. So I'm gonna just play the nudge game so that people just don't be jumping all over me. or cutting me off, so just play the nudge game. It looked like he was trying to get, I guess you see, look. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he looked like that cab on the left was trying to get over, and because he was slacking, the guy in this middle lane jumped in, cut him off. Yep, he's definitely trying to get over. I guess he doesn't want to get on the Belt Parkway. I swear, this area right here with the Van Wyck has been under construction for like, I don't know how long. It's like gotta be like at least 10, 15 years. It's like, I just don't get it. Like, what kind of
Red light camera ahead.
budget do they have? Like, they must have an unlimited budget, because they've been doing this repair for Jesus Christ, how long? Like, is this truck making me nervous? Making me nervous. Stay over there, Mr. Amazon. At first I thought he was coming over into my lane. Try to move over a little bit, Tessie. Or I shouldn't even say Tessie.
Red
Raiden.
light camera
My
ahead.
car's name is Raiden. I wonder if that truck is that doesn't sound like a regular truck. Over here, well, like, ridiculous. Like they're doing construction over here. So like, what is it that they're fixing? Because they're definitely not fixing the roads. That's like one of the things they're not doing, because these roads just always horrible over here. Go ahead, Mr. Tesla. Like, look at this merge. Like, this guy's getting over. He's going straight. Like, it's just a horrible, horrible design. Some even road. Feels a lot better. But we're gonna have to get on the Belt Parkway eventually.
Speed camera ahead.
Oh, why, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that there's a speed camera ahead.
Speed camera ahead. You are exceeding the speed.
Am I? It says the speed limit is 30, ma'am. I was at 28. Now I'm over the speed limit because it's now going 31. But jeez, don't be such a Karen.
Front K-band.
So that
Red
was
light camera
all that
ahead.
noise, that scat pack. So now we're gonna get back on the highway. What are you doing, Mr. Lincoln Navigator? It's got a sign that says Vintage Tesla. How much you want to bet that that rogue is going to try to jump in front of this Tesla? I just feel like it. He looks like he wants to cut him off to get on the Bell Parkway because he decided to be in the almost the furthest lane, but then needs to get over. Instead of getting behind, he's going to try to jump. I feel like it. It looks like the guy in the Tesla's not paying attention, so he is going to. Oh, maybe he's not. Okay. I was wrong. Just like Leonidas. What was the sudden? I guess because of the garbage bag. Which why is there garbage bags? It was like, what's that? I was ready to push the gas.
Red light camera ahead.
Oh man, the sun is out and it's gonna mess up the video. My max should be at 85. Even though the speed limit is over here is 50, but this is the Bell Parkway. If you guys didn't know, the Bell Parkway is also basically the Nuremberg, because that's how everybody treats it. People be flying up and down the Bell Parkway. I swear, like there's always an accident on the Bell Parkway. People also don't know how to drive on the Bell Parkway either.
Speed camera ahead.
They act like this is the
You
damn
are
Autobahn.
exceeding the speed. Traffic. Gosh darn it. Got 20 minutes left in this drive. A little tired. I got 2 more customers and I'm done for the day. My last job is a hard job, but today was pretty good, solid day. Front.
Driving wise, it was a piece of cake because I didn't really have to do much, you know. And here goes some of the driving that I just don't like to do, like sitting in this traffic. It's super boring.
super boring. I'm in I drive a lot every day, so I'm always in traffic. It feels like, sometimes it's nice flow, but for the most part, I'm always in traffic. Definitely not the most fun thing to do.
Front,
Let's see how long. Oh, so we're actually getting off. We only gotta go one more exit rather, and then we're getting off. Yeah, actually passing my customer because I gotta go pick up parts, because if I don't pick up this part, I can't go to my last customer. And let me just text him that I'm on my way. Hey. So he don't close up on me. I think he closes at 5, but just like to give him a heads up. But yeah, I have to basically pass my customer, because if I go to my customer, I might miss picking up the part. So
rear, K-band.
It's fine. The job that I'm doing is a pretty quick job. Shouldn't take long anyway. What did Charlie say? Oh, dang. So I should have, because he's here to 5:30. I could have went. No big deal. Whatever. I'm ready to go. He closes at 5:30. But as you saw, I've been able to pick up my phone, respond to texts, and not get any nags. Whereas me doing that before, that would have been an immediate nag. Me picking up my phone, taking my eyes off the road to pick up the phone to look down would normally been a nag. Me then, if I got away with picking up the phone and not keeping my eyes on the road, if then I had the phone in my hand rather, and then I was actually texting, then yeah, I would have normally gotten a nag. So being able to actually pick up my phone just now, text, tell them that I'm on my way, giving them my ETA, and not get nagged, it definitely shows that they definitely put something so that there's not a constant nag. So there's a situation where that car is merging and I'm merging. The car started to get into the lane, and then it saw that car get into the lane and it got out of it. So now it's going to try to get in, but it's actually accelerating. So it's trying to find a spot to get in where it fits in.